Hello everybody, video here for today. This is the retro no cap recap of the Curse of Oak Island season 6 special 2-hour episode 7, originally aired in January 2019. If you missed my recaps of previous and future episodes, there's a link to the playlist in the upper right. Let's get into it. Previously on the Curse of Oak Island, people have been looking for an incredible treasure for 229 years. The sheet piling dam is close to being completed, and Rick tells Marty via war room video conferencing. Marty brings up the spoils washing that will be required once they begin excavation in Smith's Cove. Jack is shown here washing the spoils, then they manually search the table, and it is so laborious that it sometimes took months to go through them all. Rick tells Marty that he's going to look at a wash plant that is for sale at a local quarry. As the last piling is installed in Smith's Cove, Rick learns that they have to completely pump all the groundwater out, or they will be battling water trickling in during the entire operation. Jack and Doug help Charles move this stone into the interpretive center. It is a Fred Nolan find that was pointing into the swamp, but he moved it. It has been in storage until now. They put it next to the 90-foot stone replica. Rick, Dave, and geophysicist John Wanacott travel 20 miles southwest to the town of Bridgewater to inspect the industrial wash plant that's for sale. After seeing it in action, Rick buys it. Gary, Alex, and Peter go to Lot 24 on the western side of the island via a golf cart. It and other lots have recently been cleared of brush by a landscaping company so that Gary can metal detect them. He finds this ramrod that he estimates is late 1700s, early 1800s. On the same lot, over the previous 2 years, Gary and the team have found British coins, musket balls, and uniform buttons, making it likely that the British used Oak Island as an encampment, perhaps during the American Revolutionary War. Next, Gary finds this bone, and in the same hole, this piece of pottery. He dates to the early 1700s. And then more pottery in the same hole that is now full of water. Finally, Gary finds the metal he detected in the hole, this latch-looking piece that is under the previous finds, nicely arranged on the rock by Alex. Due to the possible cultural nature of the finds, they suspend digging there until lead archaeologist Laird Niven can render an opinion. The wash plant arrives in sections on 4 trucks as Charles, Doug, and Jack travel to Halifax to again try to locate the real 90-foot stone at the former site of Marshall's bookstore that displayed it to attract investors in Oak Island search efforts. When the bookstore closed in 1919, the 90-foot stone seemed to vanish. The building is now the home of Nova Scotia College of Art and Design. They first meet with bookbinding expert Joe Landry, who has before and since identified old bookbinding leather and even ink found on the island. As they continue to search the large basement area, Marty returns from handling business back in Traverse City, Michigan, and Rick shows him the ready to excavate Smith's Cove. Marty says he continues to marvel at what previous searchers were able to accomplish despite not having all the resources that the Lagina brothers do. Back in Halifax, Charles, Doug, and Jack find this stone that does have carvings in it. They present it to the team in the war room. Marty asks where the carvings are, and Doug tells him that they were worn away because the bookbindery was using it to pound and cut leather. That information was the same as in the written account that said the stone was there. by searcher Captain Henry L. Bowden, pictured here in the center, standing next to eventual U.S. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt on the island. The L and N carved into it are also in Bowden's account. Marty brings up the 2002 laser scanning of Stonehenge that revealed carvings that couldn't be seen with the naked eye, and they will have the same done to this stone. Rick and Craig go to Smith's Cove to check out the drainage during high tide and find 3 major leaks. A call to Irving Equipment results in a plan to put fast-drying silicone sealant on the bay side of the dam to address the problems. Laird looks at the Lot 24 finds. Gary tells him there are a bunch of rocks in it, and Laird suspects it's a well. He will excavate it to confirm. Astrophysicist and aerospace engineer Dr. Travis Taylor joins members of the team in the war room via video conferencing. He has degrees in optical sciences, quantum physics, and astronomy, and has spent more than 20 years working on classified projects for NASA and the Department of Defense. He offers to do data fusion on the seismic magnetometer and other scans that have been done to see if together they reveal anything new. Rick and Marty accept his help. Rick and Peter return to Lot 24 to check on Laird's progress. He has uncovered many large stones that may be part of a structure and says that the artifacts would be from later occupation. He says it could be a shaft or tunnel that was filled in. One of the few things that Dan Blankenship and Fred Nolan agreed on was that the underground workings are very complex and are not limited to the Money Pit area. Laird would apply for a permit to excavate deeper to verify. As Alex and Peter silicone the outside of the dam while the tide is low, Dr. Taylor physically joins other members of the team in the war room and shows it anomalies between 20 and 30 meters or 65 to 99 feet. He also suggests they try using radon testing, which will indicate any voids or cavities. Dr. Taylor says he has noticed in his studies of Oak Island that many people involved with the searcher attempts have been Freemasons, beginning with Money Pit discoverer Daniel McInnes in 1795. The Freemason link led him to As Above, So Below, and the constellation of Taurus. Dr. Taylor thinks that Apple Island may have a clue that would be a starting point. Based on the star map's most northwestern point, Marty, Jack, and Gary take Dr. Taylor to the lot line between lots 2 and 3. Close to his spot is this big boulder. The next spot they check is south of the Money Pit area and is where the stone triangle was, and a rebuilt version exists today as shown here. Searcher Frederick Blair discovered it in 1797, and it pointed directly towards the Money Pit. The stone triangle was destroyed during Robert Dunfield's Big Dig in the 1960s, and its precise orientation as well as the location of the original Money Pit remain unknown. Jack asked Dr. Taylor if he used the stone triangle to place the constellation on the map, and he says no, that he just placed it so that the leg of the bull would be on the island. The next point they check out is Lot 13, the red dot at the back of the elephant's head. There's a boulder there as well. Dr. Taylor asked for GPS coordinates of the locations the boulders were so that he can adjust the anchoring of the map if it is off slightly. Rick and Dave meet with Mike Jardine from Irving Equipment in Smith's Cove. It's a lot better. But there are still a few leaks like this one. Mike points out that there's also water coming from behind the dam, so suggests digging a trench, for the water to collect into and then be pumped out. The next day, the team begins the excavation as the first bucket of spoils is put into the truck to be loaded into the wash plant. Charles is watching the conveyor belt and grabs this possible hinge. No cap recaps of season 11, in which astroarchaeology still figures will debut Tuesday late nights, and I'll also continue these retro no cap recaps of seasons 6 through 8, seasons 1 through 5, 9, 10, and the aired episodes of season 11 are already done. Thank you so much for watching, subscribing, liking, and commenting. Siempre avanti, always forward.